So this is my Greenwich Village recommendation post, and there is a lot to see and eat in this area. We actually went to two different jazz clubs in Greenwich Village. One was called Smalls and one was called Village Vanguard. And I can show you, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I can show you. Then we went on two different nights, so we didn't do all of this in one day. We went to the Washington Square Park area, Greenwich Village, several times, and really enjoyed just walking up and down the streets. Pizza is highly recommended in this area. So if you want like that authentic New York pizza, let me show you. I think we went to John's Pizza, and it was really good. There's, yeah, John's of Bleecker Street. So this was great. Old school brick oven pizza. We really enjoyed it. But I think that Joe's Pizza here is famous in New York. So, and I kind of wish that I had known that before we went. But if you want like famous, authentic New York pizza, check out Joe's Pizza. And then the Christopher Street station is where we got off for our metro stop. And we just walked up and down the streets. So the streets are really cool. You can see some amazing brownstones, and it's just a very artsy area. I wrote in my notes when I was talking about this area that you really can't visit this area without smelling weed. So that's very interesting to me. Every time we would walk behind some group of people, my husband and I would look at each other like, yep, smell it again. So a lot of different places to check out. So here's Washington Square Park. This is a famous park. A lot of activism and demonstrations have been held here in the park. There's the New York University. This is a famous university. Actually, one of my friend's sisters went to school here. A lot of great restaurants to check out if you are a foodie. Some great places. Of course, there's the pizza. And jazz. Jazz is very alive and predominant in this area. And also up, obviously, in some like parts of maybe Harlem and some of the other areas of New York. But we went to Smalls. Let me see where Smalls is. And really loved, oh gosh, it zoomed way out. Let's zoom back in. So here's Washington Square Park. And here's Smalls right up on this corner here. The corner of 10th and 4th. I really recommend coming to Smalls and maybe getting there early so that you can get your ticket. They do have like a $20 cover charge, and they give you a ticket so that when you come back, you'll be able to have a seat. If a weekend, I think they usually sell out some of their shows. So when we got there, we got there maybe about 30 minutes before the first show, and it was already sold out. So we bought our ticket for the later show and just went walking around Greenwich Village and had some pizza, and then came back for the show that night at Smalls. And then the next night, I'm pretty sure it was actually the very next night, we came back to Greenwich Village and went to Village Vanguard. Village Vanguard was on my bucket list. It is one of the most famous jazz performance venues. Bill Evans is my favorite jazz pianist from the 60s, and one of his albums, Live at the Village Vanguard, I listened to it over and over and over when I was in college. And the Village Vanguard is right here. So where are we in relation to Washington Square Park? Okay, so here's Washington Square Park. So Smalls was on what, 10th and 4th, and Village Vanguard is here on the corner of 7th and Waverly Place. I really recommend, if you're just going to pick one and you want to go to a jazz concert, definitely check out Village Vanguard. They've got well-known names in jazz music that will be performing. Comedy is also a really big thing in Greenwich Village. A lot of stand-up comic places. We didn't go to any, but I know like the Comedy Cellar, I think, is a famous place, and that's located here in Greenwich Village. So those are just my recommendations for this area. We didn't spend a lot of time. It was mostly just for jazz and pizza. And I did want to mention, I didn't say anything about Broadway or about a Broadway show when I was talking about our Times Square experience in Midtown. When we went, we just had 5 days, and I was thinking that we might do a Broadway show. But my personality, I love musicals, I love Broadway, but one of the reasons that I was coming to New York was specifically for jazz. So I have no regrets of spending our evenings going to the jazz clubs that we did with Smalls and Village Vanguard. I think I loved my experience doing that, and it's definitely, I think when you go to New York, you can pick what your personality and what you like and what you want to see, which is really fascinating and fun to see such a huge city with so much to offer. So that is my Greenwich Village review.